Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Ann Emanuel. AAA projects that more than 40 million of us have driven 50 miles or more to get to our destinations for this extended 4th of July holiday weekend. But is there any relief in sight for these high gas prices or inflation in general? Doug Luzader has more from Washington.
Before the fireworks even start tonight, plenty of people have been driving over the weekend, with AAA expecting a new record despite unprecedented gas prices. So what happened to the nearly 20-cent a gallon relief that the president was talking about?
Today I'm calling on Congress to suspend the federal gas tax for the next 90 days through the busy summer season.
Now today was reportedly the target date to get that done, but with summer travel season already underway, with Congress out of town for another week, and with lackluster support even from Democrats on Capitol Hill, it's looking more and more like a lost cause.
They don't have huge capacities.
And President Biden was just told by French President Emmanuel Macron last week that efforts to press the Saudis next week for more oil production would probably fall flat. The good news, though, is that gas prices have been trending down. Still, when the gas company Sheetz lowered their prices to $3.99 a gallon through the extended holiday weekend, motorists were thrilled.
We thought it was a great opportunity to do it.
But even that gesture won't help with surging food costs.
You're not going to get the steak on the barbecue this year. You're going to get hamburger helper. But that's okay.
According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, the cost of your July 4th cookout this year is up 17% over last year, with inflation still a prime focus at the White House.
I think that there can be no higher priority than what we have been clear is our highest priority.
The highest priority, but even the White House acknowledges that high prices are going to stick around for a while. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
People lined the streets in Hornell as they held their annual parade today. The parade featured the city's police, fire, and ambulance corps, and some of the city's local organizations. The celebrations in Hornell didn't stop with the parade, as they also had a car show and other activities for kids in Veterans Memorial Park throughout the day. Fire crews from 3 different counties battled a fire in Seneca Falls. This was the view for the Ovid Fire Department when they arrived to Ferrara Lumber on Sunday afternoon. The owners of the property say the commercial building is a complete loss, and they're working on moving their operations to another location. In a Facebook post, Ferrara Lumber thanked the community for their support and said they are down, but not out. No word yet on what caused the fire. A shooting at a 4th of July parade in the Chicago suburb of Highland Park left at least 6 people dead and multiple others injured. The shooting happened just after 10 a.m. local time as the parade was getting started. Illinois State Police are now assisting local law enforcement as they search for the suspect. The governor says he is making all state resources available. Police are urging people to stay out of that area and shelter in place while the search for the shooter is underway. Members of the LGBTQ+ community are on high alert after the recent comments from one Supreme Court justice implied the High Court could possibly re-examine past rulings on same-sex marriage. Ted Lindner has more on how the uncertainty is causing community members to lawyer up and why there could be growing support for Democrats in Congress to expand the size of the Supreme Court and pack it with liberal justices to counteract the current conservative majority.
Fear still festering among members of the LGBTQ+ community after Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas suggested the High Court reconsider its rulings on same-sex relationships and marriages, following the recent decision by the court's conservative majority to strike down Roe v. Wade.
What else might be vulnerable that we otherwise thought was settled law?
And while it's still unclear how or if other justices will side with Thomas's comments, many queer advocates believe if the Supreme Court can undo Roe after roughly 50 years, nothing is off the table.
I'm afraid with what just happened and how easy it happened that they might come for us and come for our rights.
The uncertainty causing a growing number of queer people to seek legal counsel over how to protect themselves and their spouses if their marital status is ever targeted.
They are trying to shore up their rights by wills and powers of attorney and advanced health care directives and things that would provide outside of a marital situation rights that married people would typically have.
Meanwhile, legal analysts say the Supreme Court's recent decisions are triggering renewed calls for court packing, a procedure where Congress can increase the size of the High Court. But in order for that to happen,
for Democrats to add seats to the court, they would need to become a much more radical party.
Even though analysts say many moderate Democrats don't favor court packing, a change in public opinion could sway the conversation. A new poll from Marquette Law School finds 55% of Americans now disapprove of the Supreme Court. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
It was the only house of worship destroyed on 9/11. St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church was rebuilt, and today, America's Independence Day, it was consecrated. The original church stood in the shadow of the Twin Towers and was destroyed on September 11, 2001, when the South Tower fell. The current church is a national shrine. Consecration means the church is dedicated to sacred use. Shocking video of a police-involved shooting in Ohio. The city of Akron is now canceling public events and bracing for more protests after police released video showing officers firing multiple rounds at a black man after he fled a traffic stop. Claudia Cowan is following the story.
The shooting happened last Monday after police in Akron, Ohio, pulled over 25-year-old Jayland Walker for a traffic violation. Exactly what it was is unclear, but Walker allegedly sped off, and a routine traffic stop became a public safety threat after police say an apparent gunshot was fired from Walker's car while cops were chasing him. Police say body cam video captured what they believe was a muzzle flash from the car early in the chase. Walker at some point abandoned his vehicle and the pursuit became a foot chase with 8 officers yelling at him to stop. This is video of what happened next, but we want to warn viewers it is hard to watch and hard to hear because it shows officers firing dozens of shots in a matter of seconds. The police chief says it appears Walker turned toward the officers in a way that led them to believe he was armed, but he says they will be held to account.
When an officer makes the most critical decision in his or her life as a police officer, doesn't matter where in the country this happens, when they make that most critical decision to point their firearm at another human being and pull the trigger, they've got to be ready to explain why they did what they did.
The lawyer for Walker's family spoke after the city's press conference Sunday afternoon showing Jayland's picture. His family says the young man was a DoorDash delivery driver who stayed away from trouble. With the city on edge and demanding answers and protests starting to grow, the mayor and Walker's relatives are pleading for calm.
If you can do anything for the family, please give peace, give dignity, and give justice a chance.
A firearm was discovered in Walker's car, and a spent shell casing that may have come from that gun is now part of the ongoing investigation. While the police chief acknowledged that body cam video was difficult to watch, he says he's not passing judgment until the investigation is complete. And he praised the Walker family for their call for peace. In Los Angeles, Claudia Cowan, Fox News.
Your complete forecast is next. Plus, beachgoers react after a lifeguard is bitten by a shark on a beach in Long Island. Stay with us.
Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. I'm meteorologist Alyssa Triplett, and as we had the 4th of July weekend, we also had the first weekend of July as it started on Friday, and we brought in some rainfall accumulation there. But overall, we've seen some drier weather for your Sunday as well as your Monday, so hopefully you're able to get out to all those 4th of July festivities if you had those planned out. But what we will track in is that those shower chances are going to be returning through the overnight. We do remain dry, but you are going to start to see those slight increases as we step into the afternoon. So out the door, you might not need the umbrella, but you may want to grab it as we are going to talk about some scattered rain chances. Now, the threat is continuing to shift a bit. What we're seeing is that the model trends not going to be as consistent as a widespread rainfall, more of some scattered rain, and then potentially a few isolated severe storms, especially across portions of Pennsylvania. So we'll keep an eye on those storms, but for the most part, it's going to be featured with a warm and a cold front, and we'll detail that here in a moment. But that system will be exiting on Wednesday. There will be a slight breeze that is going to drop those temperatures just a few degrees. It looks like for much of the week we are going to be staying fairly seasonal, but we could be talking about another round of some rainfall to return Thursday night into Friday morning before the weekend could be a drier one as we head through this first full week of July. Now, looking at the setup for your Tuesday, a low pressure system is going to be working its way through the Great Lakes. It's going to initiate a warm front as well as this troughing system, bringing in some showers and thunderstorms across the state. Where that cold front passes on through, and if the atmosphere is able to become unstable again, is if we'll see some severe weather across portions of Elmira and Corning. The higher risk, as mentioned, is going to be off to the south, as the Storm Prediction Center has placed portions of Elmira and Corning under that marginal risk, which means an isolated severe storm. But as you can see, off to the south of us, closer to State College, is where there's the potential for some of those strong to severe thunderstorms. So rolling through forecast here, what we'll see is you have that potential of increasing some shower activity into the morning with maybe a rumble of thunder into the afternoon. But other than that, you don't see strong building behind that, maybe a few isolated storms. So keep yourself weather aware, as the risk is still going to be at place, but it definitely is decreasing for sure. So more scattered rain showers. Start off with some fog and maybe cloud cover Wednesday before that cold front will make a full departure, and we will bring in some drier conditions before rain returns, as mentioned, on Friday. So accumulation wise, if we are able to see a couple of those waves of showers, we're looking at least 1/10 of an inch, and then extension does go up to about 1/4 of an inch to about 1/2 an inch. So definitely I think on the lighter side of that will be more of our trend, 1/10 of an inch or so, at least 1/4 of an inch if we get some of those heavier thunderstorms. Now temperature wise, when those system is moving through, we're looking at about 83 into the Corning area, Wayland around 82. So the warm front will allow for temperatures to at least hit that seasonal trend. Now we will dial back with that cold front to 79, but that's still not that cool. And overall, we hug that average through much of the week, with the chance for those storms Friday morning before clearing will take over and temperatures will stay fairly comfortable into that weekend forecast with that summertime sunshine.
A lifeguard bitten by a shark on Long Island during a training exercise. Briella Tomasetti has reaction from beachgoers and stepped up shark patrol.
I'm afraid of the sharks. And last time I was like, everybody was in the water, so it's like crazy now that we know that there's a shark in there. That's insane.
Suffolk County Smith Point Beach was open for sun seekers but off limits for swimmers after a lifeguard was attacked by a shark during a training exercise.
There's not much to do. Can't go in the water.
County officials say Zach Gallo, who has been on the job for 10 years, was playing the role of a victim but then became the victim himself when he was bitten in the chest. Gallo suffered another injury to his hand as he fought off the 4 to 5 foot predator. He was rushed to Southside Hospital and is expected to fully recover.
When I first got here, I saw like a whole bunch of people talking about it, and then I heard like there's a lot of people near the medical first aid place or whatever.
Long Island beaches are stepping up their shark patrols, deploying drones, trackers, and even jet skis amid a sharp increase in sightings.
It's not the first time it happened.
They said they seen one in Jones Beach too, so that's kind of scary.
A 10-foot shark washed up at Point Lookout on Memorial Day weekend, and this past week authorities said a man swimming at Jones Beach may have also been attacked.
Be careful, don't really go deep, because I've been seeing a lot of sharks right now. Like a couple around over here.
And while most swimmers heeded lifeguards' stern warnings to stay out of the water,
I don't care, because I'm not going all the way out there. I never do, because I'm scared of the waves.
some are ready to jump right back in. That is as soon as they get the green light to do so.
I mean, I was excited to go into the water, so I was a little bit bummed when I heard that there were sharks in the water. But it's okay. We're having a good time. We're just kind of dipping our toes in.
A group called City Girls Can Walk is inspiring hundreds of women in the Phoenix area to start walking. The group started only a few months ago, but has thousands of followers after getting on social media. Irene Snyder has more.
Please come join us.
City Girls Who Walk are taking on hiking trails and parks across the valley. This week at Friendship Park in Avondale.
We actually blew up on TikTok, so our first walk was 11 people, and then our next walk was over 100 people. The power of TikTok is absolutely insane, and that's all it took.
The group invites women and their dogs to walk together every Sunday. Women who at the beginning of the walk were complete strangers, ended their lap as new friends.
I'm new to Arizona.
needed some new friends, and so I started coming here. You get to meet new girls every single time.
Caitlin and Kira came to their first walk not knowing anyone. Now they meet up every Sunday for the walks and also get together during the week.
We just do a short walk in the mornings, and then sometimes we'll go get brunch or go to the pool after, and it's just a great opportunity to meet new people.
Really just making friends and also like having that reason to wake up at early in the morning on a Sunday.
Because that's what it's really all about, making friends and building a community.
We just want to continue going throughout the valley and making sure that everybody feels included in City Girls Who Walk Phoenix.
Still ahead, ways to protect your personal data from being leaked on your smartphone. Turns out goats can be great landscapers. Ashley Stromier has a look at how these gentle grazers are being put to work, plus how you can make sure your lawn survives this summer's intense heat.
Yard work can be a hassle, especially in sweltering heat. That's why one of New York City's popular parks is saying move over mowers and welcoming a crew of adorable goats as their new landscapers. The goats will call Riverside Park along the west side of Manhattan their new home for the remainder of the summer. The animals are an eco-friendly way of combating invasive plants while managing the grass on the park's steep hills.
They eat poison ivy, they eat the porcelain berry, they eat the multiflora rose, and that's what we're trying to get rid of.
And once the goats have worked their magic, native foliage will be planted. Meanwhile, if you don't have goats to do your lawn work, professionals say you'll need to pay close attention to how tall you cut your grass for the remainder of the summer, with soaring temperatures putting your yard at risk of dying.
We tend to recommend mowing between 2 and 4 inches. Higher is usually better. You also tend to have a deeper root system, which is going to allow that plant to exploit the soil environment a little bit better when it's looking for nutrients and water.
But with drought continuing to impact large swaths of the Midwest, Southeast, and Western U.S., many people are ripping up their water-guzzling lawns and transitioning to artificial turf.
Grass uses the equivalent of 73 gallons of water a year per square foot. That's enough water to put where we are completely underwater by 10 feet.
If your lawn does require watering, landscapers say the best time to turn on your sprinklers is between 4 and 7 a.m. so the water pressure is higher and can help disperse it equally.
30 American flags stolen from a neighborhood just days before the 4th of July. Mia Villanueva has more.
Yesterday in the afternoon, all of these poles that you see had American flags like that on it, both sides of the street.
It's a tradition that goes back nearly 15 years in this neighborhood. Dozens of American flags lining the street for the 4th of July. But on Saturday morning, Jeff Smith woke up to a shock.
I left for Portland Golf Club this morning at 4:50 a.m. and I came out here and went, uh-oh, gone.
About 30 flags in all belonging to Jeff and his neighbors, stolen sometime during the night. Full-size flags, small flags, even a flag for the U.S. Marines, all taken. It's a crime Jeff takes personally.
I would consider myself more than the average patriot guy. Like, it matters to me. The country matters. The people that defend the country matter. I think when somebody steals an American flag, they're doing more than they know.
Jeff says there's surveillance video of the thieves, and the Washington County Sheriff's Office is investigating. They say at least 3 people want to press charges, but in the meantime, Jeff has extra flags.
What I'm going to do now is replace every flag that was taken with one of those, and so the street will look like it did before, and even better, actually. Spirit of America.
If you're worried about private data being snatched from your smartphone, you should review your apps and settings. A technology researcher at the University of Oxford says consumers should do an app audit regularly to eliminate old or unused apps and refresh data use. For example, get rid of unnecessary free ones that make money selling your data. Review the app privacy policies, and check for bad company practices. You can also shut down ads tracking you from one site to another. And look at how an app tracks location history and for how long. Stay with us. We'll have more after the break. We want to leave you with a smile. A man in Virginia won the lottery in a unique way. Alonzo Coleman claims he won the $250,000 prize after playing the lottery numbers that came to him in a dream. Coleman bought his ticket for $2 at a local mart. He said he got the numbers when he bought his ticket for a June Bank a Million drawing. He matched the first 6 numbers, only missing the bonus ball. Sounds like a sweet dream to me. From our whole team, thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Manuel. We hope you have a great rest of your day.